Hello, Professor. I hope you're doing well today. This is going to be my video on my final project. So the overall goal of this project is to allow the user to select a cryptocurrency, and given that particular coin, it will showcase the price data for the first and last day of the week for a couple of weeks in the past. Depending on whether the price of the coin opened higher on the last day of the week, it will display a certain gift. And if the price of the coin opened lower on the last day of the week, it will display another gift. So to go through it, I'll give an example of how the project is. So we go to the home page, which is at localhost 3000. We get a list of available coins that we can choose from. So for example, we choose Bitcoin. And once I submit, it's going to show me the price data. So when the price is up for the week, it will show this particular gift. When the price is down for the week, I'm sorry, when the price is the same for the week, it will show this one. And when the price is down, it will show this gift. These three gifts are from the trending section of the Giphy API, which I will go over soon. So these gifts will change from time to time depending on what's currently trending. So this is, for example, this is the top trending gift, and then the second trending and the third trending. So if we go to the table, we see that for this particular week, starting from the 8th until the 14th of December, the price of Bitcoin has opened lower on the last day than the first day, so we get this price is down gift. And we show that this been the case for the past 3 weeks, and then when we get to 4 weeks in the past, we see that on the last day it has opened higher than the first day, so we get the price is higher gift. And we continue getting that gift, and it would change here and there depending on whether the price is higher or the same on the opening of the last day. I believe if we go to another coin, we have an example of when the price is the same. Yes, so when the price is the same, we get this gift instead. So it checks whether the price is up, the price is same, or the price is down, comparing it on the opening of the last day and the opening of the first day of the week. So to do this, I utilize two APIs. The main one is the Bitcoin average API, and I also use the Giphy API. For authentication for this Bitcoin average API, it's a simple API key, which I get from registering an account. And every single request I make to the API, I make sure to include that API key into the header. The first request I make is going to go to the Bitcoin average API. The first thing I want to get is the different price symbols, which I get from this request here to this link, the info/indices/ticker. So these price symbols contains the name of the coin and also the fiat currency that the coin is being converted to. So for example, I have Bitcoin to Canadian dollar, I have Bitcoin to the euro, down here I have Bitcoin to United States dollar, Ethereum to the Canadian dollar. For this project, I only want to focus on the US dollar price. So I chose the symbols that included the United States dollar currency. And once I have my list of symbols, I take that and make a second request to this endpoint, the info indices/names, and I match them up to get the actual name of the coin. And this is what is shown in this list of coins for the user to choose from, instead of just the ticker symbol. And once the user makes a selection, I pass that along to this other endpoint that we have here that will give me the historical price for that particular coin. So I just pass in the coin that the user selected, I pass in the ticker symbol, and it gives me the different prices that that coin was at for a particular time interval. So for this example, for this project, I chose my parameter as day, which gives me the coin price opening and closing for each day for the number of days in the past. And that's what I use to group them into weeks and to display the data. And after I get this price data, I then make my request to the Giphy Cat API. So the first thing I do here, I have my client ID and my client secret that I got from the developer portal, which was emailed to me. I pass this along to this post request, and it returns me my access token that I can use to interact with some of the endpoints of this API. Once I have my access token, I then go down to the trending feeds, which from this GET request, I'm able to get a list of different GIFs that are currently trending. And the ones I display are simply from the top of the list, the top three on the trending page. So going over the code, I have my HTTP server starting at port 3000, and then I send back different data depending on the URL request. So for example, when the user goes to the home page, I call this function is the getCoins function, and I have it in my Bitcoin average JavaScript file. So looking at here, essentially it will give us the data we need to display the list of coins to the user. So to show the responses I get back. So first I get all of the ticker symbols. These are the ticker symbols I received from that first request. And once that request is finished, I get this callback function, the receive USD tickers function. And I essentially go through and select each unique coin. So each coin here will have the USD option for the fiat currency. So essentially do a substring, remove the last three characters, which is going to be the fiat currency symbol, and just choose and select the unique coins, and I save them in my coin tickers, which I can demonstrate here. I'll do a console.log of the coin tickers, and I'll refresh. So you see here we have the coins with the fiat currency conversion symbol, and then I just select all the unique coins and only their symbols. Once I have that, I then make my next request to get the names of the coins so that the user won't just see a symbol, they'll actually see the full name of the coin. I'm using the string to message function that we discussed in the assessment 4. I have that in my helper function file. And then once that result is finished, it calls on the receive coins callback. I also pass in my coin tickers array, which I have right here. And I essentially just match them up. This is the response I get from that second request. I get the coin ticker along with the coin name, the full name, and essentially just match them up. And I take that data and create a HTML form with a select tag, and each option value for the select will be the coin name, and the value will be the coin ticker. So we see in the inspector, we have to select each option, then we have the coin name, and we have the coin ticker symbol as the value. And this value is what's getting passed to get the price of that coin. So next, I'm going to choose a coin, for example, Bitcoin. I press submit, and it brings me to the next page. The URL for this page is going to be localhost/price, and then I pass in the coin ticker symbol. From the index.js, we see that when we get a request that starts with path, we extract the coin parameter and then call the get price function, which which lives in the same Bitcoin average JSON file. So these first two requests I made to get the ticker symbols and the descriptions, it didn't need any authentication. But now once I getting the price data, I now need to pass in my access token. So I go ahead, make this request. I pass in the coin that the user selected, the ticker, and I also pass in the day, which will give me the price of the coin per day for the past few days. I make my request. I say gonna be a get request. I pass in the access token in the header based on their documentation. And once that's done, I call I have a callback to receive coin price data function, and I still pass in the coin that was selected. The response for that API call looks like this right here. It's a long list of the days with the high, low, open price, the average, and the volume. So we get a lot of information for each day. Once I have that data, I then divide it into 7. I make 7 different groups. Now, once I have my price data, I then make my first request to the GiphyCat API. So this request to the GiphyCat, this is my second API. It waits until it has been received the coin price data, and it waits until that data has been divided into 7 groups. So I call this function the getGifsURL, which lives in the GiphyCat JSON. I'm sorry, the GiphyCat JavaScript file. The first thing I do is I'm checking if my access token is valid or not. The previous access token that I had for the Bitcoin, for the Bitcoin API, it does not expire. So I didn't have to check if it's valid or not. But for this one, for the GitGet, the API, the access token does expire after a while. I have this cached. So first thing I check is to see if the file, the JSON file I have, if it exists or not. If it doesn't exist, then we're going to request a new token. If it does exist, then we just simply check to see if it hasn't expired. If not, then we are good to go and we just call back the function with the access token. If not, if it is expired, then we request a new token. So this goes to an example of this. I'm gonna delete right here these access token.json and delete it. And then I'm gonna refresh the page here. Okay. And I should have some information that show that I have made another request. Okay, it says right here. So this was our price data that we got from the previous API call before we started talking to the GiphyCat. And we see here that we are now requesting a new token, and this is the response I get back. And I take this value and I have it in my access token file, which has been created. So this is the function that requests the access token. I passing in my parameters. The grant, this is based on the API documentation. I have my client ID and my client secret that was emailed with me when I made the account for the API. I make sure that data is in JSON format. I contain my options. This is going to be a post request. I keeping track of the time that we made the request to the new access token. And here I make the request here. And once that is done, it then goes into this callback. It processes a JSON, extracts a token, when it expires, and I include a new expiration date. I'm sorry, expiration time, which will show exactly when this will expire. Once that is all done, I then do my callback, which goes back to here. And now we have the API now we have the access token. And here, now we can make the request to get the top 3 GIFs on the trending page. So this is my endpoint. The tag name, I have the trending and a GIF count. I set it to 3, so I'm gonna get 3 different GIFs back. And in addition, I now have my authorization header, the bearer with the token that I just passed through. And then I have my callback, receiving trending GIFs, which brings down to this function here. The response for this function looks like this. I'll up a little bit. So this was for the access token previously, and now this is a response for the different GIFs that I get back. So right now we're looking at the first GIF. We contain a lot of information about the GIF, and really what we need is from here the contents URL. This will be the different URLs that the different sizes we can have the GIF in. I'm choosing the WebP URL. As we can see here, I go from the contents URL, select the WebP element, and I'm selecting the URL for that. I then push these URLs into an array, and I'm calling my callback function, and I'm passing in the 3 URL links to the GIFs. So this callback function goes back to the Bitcoin average.json file, back to where we made the request for the GIFs. So right here, we made the request for the GIFs URL, and it goes back to this callback, and we see we're passing in the URLs of all the GIFs. And right here is fairly straightforward. We're just making the HTML element of the page, and then we just simply loop through all of it, calculate if the price is the last day of the week is higher than the first day of the week, and then we set the correct GIF based on that calculation. And simply return the entire HTML data, and we get to this page here. So looking through the sequence diagram, we have the user, the Node.js server, and the 2 APIs. First thing we do is get the coin ticker symbols from the Bitcoin API. It responds back to the list of coin ticker symbols, and then once we have that, we make a request for the descriptions of the selected ticker symbols, and it comes back with a description. Once we have that, then we can pass that data to the user, a list of all of the coins with the description, and then the user will select the coin. And here we're getting the coin price. We are passing that coin to the API to get the price, and it will give us back the historically price data. And now we move on to the GiffyCat API, and we wait for the authentication. We check to see if our access token is still valid. If it's not valid, then we make a request to get a new one, which will be granted, and we get the access token. Once we have the access token, the Node.js server can request 3 of the GIFs from the GiffyCat API, the trending tab, and then the GiffyCat API will respond back with 3 other trending GIFs. And once we have that, we can package it all up together and send the user the coin price data along with the 3 different GIFs. So to facilitate that the server can handle multiple requests, gonna have 2 windows open here, the website in the Safari browser and here in the Chrome browser. I'm going to at the same time submit both forms from here and here, and to show that both of them are able to come up. We also have a safeguard against wrong pages. So for example, if I have something of hello, well, I would get the 404 page right here. And to make sure that all these calls are in synchronous, basically what happens is that each next HTTP request does not happen until the callback has happened. So for example, each of these requests are inside of the callback for that previous request. And to show is with the GiffyCat API, we have this function that makes a request to get the price of the coins. And here we have our callback to receive coin price data function. This function will run once the response has ended. So once we have the response, the data has been loaded, then the receive coin price data function will run. And this guarantees that we don't call this next API until we finish processing the response from the previous endpoint. Okay, so that's my video for my final project. And thank you so much for listening, Professor, and have a nice day.